We are getting closer and closer to the end of the transfer window, and Rangers are expected to still bring in a few more additions, with both Morgan Whittaker and Nicholas Raskin being heavily linked with a move this winter. Whilst Rangers' main priority is to be bringing in players, it is reported that one Rangers defender could leave the club, as 3 clubs have expressed interest in landing in this window, of which we'll reveal who in today's video. We will also go over all the latest Rangers news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to cover in today's video. And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys. Before we get into today's video, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. With Ryan Kent and Alfredo Morelos' Rangers' futures still unclear, Kenny Miller has warned the pair that they may live to regret it should they choose to leave. Kenny sat down with Rangers publicists, Rangers Review, and discussed the situation and said, "I know you've got the age-old argument of protecting your investment and giving someone a big, meaty, expensive contract for the next 3 seasons when they're actually not really performing to the level you'd expect. Now, I still think there's a bit of that to weigh up. Do you want to give them the big improved contracts when you're maybe not quite getting the levels? I think Alfredo is a bit of a different situation to Ryan Kent. The reason is the value for money in Alfredo's signing is he's now gone probably 5, 6 or even 10-fold what you actually paid for him and what you've actually got by him performing and scoring goals, particularly over the European runs in the last few years. He's going to have been a really good value signing no matter what, and I think if he was to sign another contract, you're still going to make up to 6 times your money if you were to eventually sell him. I can understand signing him, and I can also understand if he wanted to move on. It's not the club wanting to do it. I think the club will want to do it. I just wonder, does Alfredo look at this and think, is it the right time to move on? Do something on a free transfer. Ryan Kent's a bit different in that they've paid a lot of money for him, and I still think the value for money is not as great as Alfredo has been. Ryan's a wonderful player and I really like him. I'm thinking as a fan, like everybody, you want to see it on a more consistent basis. You want to see his flashes, not be flashes. You want these flashes to be constantly present during a game. In the Europa League run to the final last year, he was unbelievable against Leipzig and against Dortmund. This is the elite level of football. It's a bit of a generic way of thinking that if he's doing it against them, why is he not doing it against Ross County and Motherwell? But it's a different game and it's a different challenge that he'll face playing in those games. In the European games against the big teams, there's a little bit more space. There may be not so much emphasis on stopping him as what there is in domestic games, but that being said, his performance against Dortmund, particularly away, he was absolutely outstanding and that's what he's capable of. His abilities are never in doubt because you see it. I just don't think we see it enough. Again, Ryan might think he may want to find his way back to England at Premier League level, where I'm sure he believes where he belongs, and maybe this is a chance for him to get that opportunity on a free transfer. It's not good news for Rangers to find yourself in a situation, and I'm sure they're working tirelessly behind the scenes. Michael, because of the relationship he's got with the players, Ross Wilson as the director of football, and as a club as a whole, will be trying to convince these guys that Rangers is the place for them. But there are always 2 sides to it, and I do see both sides. I've lived both sides well, so I understand that the players are thinking at the moment, but what I also would say to them is sometimes the grass is not always greener, and I've experienced that as well. If you were to leave, you're leaving a wonderful football club, they're absolutely adored by the fans, and you're leaving a club that's competing. There are demands put on you to go and win and be successful. With the greatest respect to them, I don't think they'll go to that type of club if they're going back down to England or somewhere else. There's a lot to be said for having that expectation on your shoulders to win trophies and win games every single week. I'm talking from personal experience. Just a quick one before we get back into the video, guys. We are currently doing a January sale on all our Rangers merchandise. Just go down into the link in the description or go to rfcclothing.com. We do have new prints coming in February, but for now, as I said, shop the old collection, rfcclothing.com, or go down into the link in the description. Let's get back into the video. Charlie McCann has completed a transfer move to Forest Green Rovers from Rangers. The 20-year-old has signed a long-term contract with the English League One club after an undisclosed fee was agreed between the clubs. McGann, who made 8 first-team appearances for Rangers, has been called up by the Northern Ireland national team and featured for the under-21 side. Now he's aiming for increased game time with Rovers, having sealed an exit from Ibrox this month. Rangers negotiated a significant sell-on fee as a part of his deal, whilst also holding a return option and matching right to McCann for the future. Charlie McCann may not be the only youngster to leave the club this winter, as it is being reported that Rangers are willing to listen to offers for defender Lewis Mayo. The centre-back is currently out on loan with Kilmarnock, and has made 26 appearances in all competitions for the Rugby Park outfit. It is believed that a number of clubs in Scotland and England are interested in Mayo, who's in the final 18 months of his current contract at Ibrox. The defender is in his fourth loan spell away from Ibrox, and Rangers have told him he can move permanently this month. Mayo, who is capped 11 times by Scotland at under-21 level, spent last season on loan at Scottish Championship side Partick Thistle. He also had a spell at Dunfermline Athletic for the 2020-21 season. The defender is yet to make a senior debut for Rangers and has made the substitute bench a handful of times. Mayo is among a number of younger talents who could be leaving Ibrox for good this month. Michael Beale is being urged to make a new contract for Ryan Jack at Rangers an utmost priority or face losing the veteran. Graham Dorrans has said, Ryan has been a big part of the success of the club and had over the last 2-3 years, alongside people like Morelos and Ryan Kent. There's no reason why he shouldn't be considered as important as those other guys who will be out of contract. He's maybe a bit older, but you'd think it would be one of his priorities. He's only 30 with a good few years ahead of him. When I was there, as far as I know, he had a good relationship with Michael Beale. I think the manager rates Ryan really highly. I'd be very surprised if there wasn't a deal offered there in the next few weeks. The club might be focused on bringing in new players. It might be something they might look at after it closes. I'm sure there'll be conversations to get that sorted. Dorrans also claimed Jack, despite his age, would have keen interest in his services from clubs in England. He said, Ryan is a huge supporter of the club, so I would be surprised if he didn't want to stay. There are things that obviously have to happen with contracts and terms. I'm sure he and the club will speak about when the time is right. But as far as him wanting to stay at Rangers, in my opinion, I definitely think he would. If there wasn't an offer, I think there would be plenty of interest from clubs in England in a player with Ryan's quality. You can see how important he is in the big matches in the midfield, and he scores goals too. Adding that side has been big for him. Rangers transfer guru John Park is reportedly being considered to become the Hibs director of football. It is claimed the experienced backroom staff member is on a shortlist of possible candidates to join the Easter Road setup. Reports state that Park is a leading candidate for the job of Hibs, searching for a director of football to assist manager Lee Johnston and chief executive Ben Kensel. Park joined Rangers in July to work alongside Ross Wilson to identify talents. He previously worked as a recruitment chief for Celtic. Park also worked for Hibs as an academy director for 9 years. Now he could be approached over a return to Easter Road in the newly created director of football position. But it is claimed it would need to be a significant offer to tempt Park to jump ship, with guarantees and decision-making required. Rangers fans, what are your thoughts on Ryan Jack, and do you think he should be given a new contract? Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. We are also currently having a January sale on all our Rangers t-shirts, so do go shop the collection by going to rfcclothing.com or going down into the link in the description. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.